everyone, book review today because I'm still reading books even though I am also in the middle of doing the Strike Back video-a-thon. So today's book review is on Every Heart a Doorway by Sienna Maguire. I hope that's how you pronounce her first name, I'm not quite sure. It's also a pen name as well. This is a nice little small book. It's a novella, possibly, or what we used to call a normal sized book, that follows what happens after you come back from being in a fantasy world or an other world. This is after the ever after, as the back says. We follow a young girl called Nancy who has recently returned back from one of these other worlds through a doorway. And her parents want her to be the normal, bright, colourful girl she was before she went through the door. And so, as a last resort, they've sent her to this school for wayward children run by a lady called Eleanor, herself also a traveller to other worlds. And it's quite an interesting read because you start out expecting it to be one kind of story, and then about halfway through, not even that possibly, it takes this drastic 90-degree turn. It becomes this totally different story that you weren't even expecting. I didn't know much about this when I went into it. I think that's probably the best way to be with this book. I do know it's the first in a loose trilogy. I believe the second one is actually a prequel to this book, and then the third one's like after this one. So it's a very loose trilogy, but it basically revolves around this concept of there are doors that open up for certain children, usually girls, to go to other types of worlds. And they range from the happy, larry, sweetie, sugary land all the way to the land of the dead. But each world is unique to the child that goes through the door. The world calls to specific children. So nobody really ends up in a world that they don't belong. And that's one of the themes in this book, the sense of where you belong, where home is to you. And for many of these children, home is that other world they went to. That's where they feel where they belong the most. That's their home. And it's quite interesting seeing them coming to terms with the idea that might never ever be able to go back to those worlds and how they deal with that. So I really did enjoy the idea of what happens after you come home or come back. I don't want to say too much about the story because I don't want to spoil it. Some people have complained that the ending is a little bit rushed. I don't think it was. For me, it just felt like the natural point where that's where it ended. And it just made sense. You'll understand when you get to the ending as to how our lead character feels when she gets to that ending and why it ends like that. Then you'll understand it. But I don't want to spoil it. I want you to go into this story, and it won't take you long to read because it is like 200 pages long. And just enjoy the concept of after coming back and how different people cope with it and different personalities and all those kind of things that you wouldn't have thought to think about after closing the book at the end of like The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe. You know, what happened next to those children. Obviously we know because we've got Prince Caspian and The Voyage of the Dawn Treader, but initially when you close that book on The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, what happens next to those children? How do they cope with the fact that they went to this fantastical world, they fought this monster, they became kings and queens? And Every Heart a Doorway kind of does that a bit, which is really good. I really enjoyed it. So if you like whimsically school-like stories that deal with more about emotions and home and fitting in, give Every Heart a Doorway a shot. Do be aware though, the plot doesn't go where you think it's going to go. It takes that turn and becomes something very, very different, and I don't want to spoil any of that. Please give it a go though. It's a short little book. It does stand alone quite nicely. You don't have to read anything else in the series, but you know, like I say, there are 2 more. You might enjoy it. As always, my social media links are in the description box down below, and please leave comments. Have you read this series? Did you enjoy it? What did you think about it? And who's your favourite character in Every Heart a Doorway? I have to quite admit to liking Cade, but you let me know who you like. That would be great. Please check out any booktuber links I've left down below in the description box, and book bloggers. Let's all go and support each other in the community. And as always, thank you very much for watching, and happy reading. Bye.